All right, so you guys had the multi-port on. There we go. Now it's there.
There we go.
And I didn't realize until just now that was a thing.
It's live, pal. You ever seen that interview with Jim Ross interviewing Psycho Sid?
I can't say that I have.
He messes up a line. He's like, all right, let's do it again. He's like, we're live, pal.
Welcome to the home stretch.
No.
Stretch. Oh, my God.
Botchamania.
Let's just cut this whole 2 minutes out. It's live, though. Welcome to the Squared Circle. The home stretch is tomorrow night. I will be there.
Cheap plug.
Yeah. Squared Circle. Now, I am Anthony Tartamella alongside me, Justin Greenberg.
Yes.
Here to talk to you about wrestling. So, a lot of things to go over, so we're going to make it quick. I do want to mention you can watch us live if you don't want to listen on the radio. Facebook.com/squaredcircle903 is the official Facebook page for us. So we'll post all our live streams there. They'll all be there. And then any other things that we find throughout the week that we feel like posting will be there. So first things first, Money in the Bank is last night. And an interesting pay-per-view, I think, to say the least.
Yes.
Overall, though, I wasn't that upset with it. I think they did a lot of good story building.
What were you mad about? You teased it on Facebook.
So
was it the opening match?
Yes.
Okay. Same.
I was extremely annoyed by the fact that they had a very good women's match for the Money in the Bank. I thought it was a great match leading up. And then, of course, they just make the women look like stupid. They make them look like they're a cheap gimmick by having a guy, James Ellsworth, who is just a jobber. That's all he is. He's the guy. He goes up the ladder and gets... that moment should have been one of the most iconic moments in WWE history. Whether it's... I don't care who it was out of that match. Literally anybody could have... I wouldn't have cared who. In a perfect world, for me, I would have loved to see Becky Lynch win it. But... You know, for any woman to go up that ladder and get that briefcase, like that would have been an iconic WWE moment. And they completely got rid of it for the sole purpose of gaining heat. And I get that, like, we're talking about it now and it's got heat and, you know, you're building Carmella as a heel and Ellsworth as a heel. I understand that. But there comes a point where you have an iconic moment like that in a great match where everybody's giving it their all and everyone's doing a great job. And then you just... completely ruined the entire that ruined the entirety of the night for me.
It did.
I was so annoyed about that I mean the rest of the night I wasn't that mad. I enjoyed the pay-per-view, but just a really awful way to kind of kick it off. Yeah,
I think the crowd was deflated after that. You know, at moments it did pick up, but to have that as the opening moment of your pay-per-view is a disgrace. And before the match started, they had this nice little, you know, promo package showing like Moolah, Mae Young, Trish Stratus. They showed all these great women wrestlers, and you're like, all right, they're going to, you know, give justice to these females who have, you know, gone through a lot.
It was really a great package, I thought.
Yeah, it was awesome. And now when you have that iconic moment, if you want to show another moment in a package years from now, what are you going to show? James Ellsworth, you know, handing the Money in the Bank?
Yeah, that was bad.
It just, you know, defeats every purpose as to, you know, this women's movement. And it was pathetic.
I mean, the only thing it really does do is it gives something for Daniel Bryan to do when he comes back on Tuesday. So he's already made a point on Twitter that he's going to come out at SmackDown and discuss what happened. But I just thought it was a real cheap way to gain heat. I have no problem with legitimate heels, and that's one thing that I really like. We've been talking about it since it happened. The whole Jinder Mahal thing.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
And you know, I was sitting there watching it with my dad and, you know, Jess, and I'm just sitting there and I'm like, you know what? We may disagree with the fact that they made Jinder Mahal a champ so quickly, but you cannot disagree with the fact that, A, he looks like a champion when he comes out. He carries himself well, and he is the best pure heel that WWE has made in years. Think about it. there you have great heels like Kevin Owens, a great heel, but he doesn't get universally booed.
That's because he's so good. Kevin Owens, see,
that's not it.
I think it is, because the smart fans, they don't boo Owens or they don't boo an AJ Styles when he was heel because they respect what they've done in the past. They know they're amazing in-ring wrestlers and cut awesome promos. I think with Jinder Mahal, the reason he's getting booed universally is because he was essentially a jobber and now he's getting pushed down our throats, and we could see through why the reason is. And then for the younger fans, they boo him because he's the bad guy. And I have no problem with that. I think that's great that we have somebody that gets fully booed, but you see it differently?
Yeah, I see it as this guy is getting booed. Like, that is at the end of the day, whether, I think there is a little bit to it because we are more privy to what's happening backstage and the business decisions of wrestling than we were 20 years ago, 30 years ago. But this, just the way that he's getting booed, it really, yes, yesterday they were in St. Louis, and that's Randy Orton's hometown, and they really played that whole, this is his hometown angle.
Yeah, they had his dad out there.
But they did a great job with it. And Jinder did a great job with it. The Singh brothers did a great job with it. I just really think that he is getting booed so well, and he has so much legitimate heat now. People just hate this guy.
I'm all for a heel being booed.
Yes,
I love that.
And that's what I like about it. And people will continue to say he shouldn't be the champion. He shouldn't be the champion.
It's something different,
but he's hated. And at the end of the day, that's the point. That's the point of a heel, is you're supposed to hate him.
Agreed.
And in wrestling, there have been Vince Russo was a WWE champion.
WCW.
WCW champion.
David Arquette.
David Arquette was a WCW champion. I mean, there have been less deserving people than Jinder Mahal who have been
Great
world champions.
Khali was world champion.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't really, I don't have so much an issue with that. I originally thought I was going to have more of an issue with it, but he has done a very good job in cutting promos and actually carrying himself.
I don't mind it.
Champion.
It's something different, and now he's given an opportunity.
He's been just spilt like a monster.
You can't just have the same guys, go. And that was the thing about this pay-per-view. You saw, a lot of new blood get either title opportunities, win the Money in the Bank, or debuts of different performers. So all in all, I thought the opening match was really solid. The fans were into it, but I think the ending cut the momentum of the whole night, and it took some time for it to rebuild. But all in all,
I don't
good
think
match.
it ever really got back. Honestly.
Yeah, it didn't. Maybe in the main event, but we'll get to that in a little bit.
Yeah. Other than that, so we had the women's title match with Naomi and Lana.
Crowd was dead.
Yeah, that was a bad match.
I don't think that was the second match, though. I think the second...
I don't even know.
The second match, I think, was New Day versus Usos.
Oh, yeah. It was a pretty fun match.
I think that was good. Those are, I'm not the biggest Uso fans, but obviously, they're talented.
They did a great job ending that match in a sense where they're still the champions, but the New Day looks strong still. So that feud will continue.
Yeah, they did that perfectly.
Yep.
The heel wins.
A lot of fun.
But now you could have that carry on, maybe have I don't want to say a cage match because...
Well, SummerSlam is the next pay-per-view for
SmackDown.
SmackDown, yeah.
You could do, no disqualification, falls count anywhere, tag team match. There's endless possibilities for how you could do this. It's just good, hopefully this builds some momentum for SmackDown's tag team division because it's kind of lacking these days, especially with American Alpha not there. But I'm sure they'll be returning soon.
Yeah.
In fact, I thought I think they're going to end up being the guys that actually attacked Tyler Breeze.
No, well, they revealed that last night.
I just think they didn't really reveal it. They just the whatchamacallit, what's the name of the team?
Ascension.
They just came out. They didn't say we did it.
That was a waste of a really good opportunity to heel turn American Alpha.
I still have faith that that's what they're going to do. I think because the Ascension just came out to fight, they didn't necessarily say we did it.
Yeah, but they never really speak anyway.
True. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see what happens with that division. But that
was a waste for me.
Usos retain the titles.
Yep.
New Day wins though with the countout.
Yep.
Everyone looks strong. The women's match was next.
That was bad.
It was
It was bad.
I thought it could have been worse, especially because Lana's never wrestled before. The crowd was really
she wrestled
dead
at WrestleMania last year, but never in a singles
nobody
match,
talks about that. But to me, the crowd was dead. I thought they'd be really into it, but absolute silence.
I just think Naomi's gimmick is kind of run dry. It's run out of steam.
Yeah, it certainly has. I was never really a big Naomi fan, especially when you have someone like Charlotte on that roster. But it is what it is. Lana, she's great looking, and she's going to be, a women's wrestler now, apparently.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, we'll see what happens. We're still waiting for Rusev to come back. I thought he was going to come back.
We had
tonight.
a lot of Rusev chants, which is great.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're going to do with that. This opens the opportunity for lots of, mixed tag matches. I'm sure we'll get, Maria and Mike Canales.
Mike the Miracle Bennett no longer the Mike. First of all, I got to say, so this was, I thought, done so well because it was not really clear what they were going to be when they came out, either heels or faces. But the fact that Mike Bennett took Maria's last name,
that was funny,
and they were like doing Eskimo kisses and slow dancing.
Yeah.
They're heels, guys.
Obviously, they're heels
here.
They debut. Maria comes back. You wrote re-debut. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. And then Mike Bennett. I'm surprised, they got called up directly to the main roster.
I think the thing is that they wanted to stay together, and Maria's been on WWE TV for a while, and she did a lot, like 10 years ago, which is crazy to think that was 10 years ago what she was doing. Which, by the way, I didn't write it down on here, but this month was officially 10 years since WWE ran the Vince McMahon exploding in a limo.
Yes, and 10 years next week is 10 years of Chris Benoit murder, suicide. Yeah, who?
Yeah, but
and the end of PG era. I actually saw the last TV 14 event. It was at the Nassau Coliseum. It was Great American Bash, and the last match with blood intentionally was Chris Jericho versus Shawn Michaels in a street fight. And then, the whole Benoit thing kind of, was kept on being talked about, and they made the decision to switch to TV PG, which in the long run I think has been good for business. Maybe, not for the fans, certainly at moments. You want them to have blood, you want them to do more risque stuff, but it's at the end of the day, it is a business, and WWE, say what you will, they make a ton of money, so hats off to them. I think next week we should go over the whole Chris Benoit, his career, the impact of the tragedy that happened, and we can even go leading up to it, the death of Eddie Guerrero. So interesting show next week. Next up on the pay-per-view was...
I think that was the Randy Orton, I think.
Yes. Oh, they had a backstage segment with Fandango.
Yeah, we kind of went out of order with this whole thing, but whatever.
Who cares?
Yeah. We have a lot of things to get to, so I'm not too concerned about that. The next thing, we got to Randy Orton. We got to the Breezango Fashion Police thing. I guess the men's Money in the Bank would be the only thing that we missed.
Let's talk about Randy Orton versus Jinder Mahal.
Yeah, we talked a little bit. It was a solid
match.
I thought it was pretty fun. I thought that was exactly what you would want. Randy Orton looks strong, but eventually gets beaten. Jinder Mahal looked real strong coming out of that. He looks really good. Now it's going to set up whoever's going to challenge him next.
Hopefully this is the end of Orton versus Jinder Mahal.
I think it is. I think Jinder's going to, I think Randy's going to take some time off now and, spend some time with his kids. Do the, I'm 35 years old and I've wrestled for the past 20 years of my life.
Yeah.
And I won like 18 titles. So I think he's going to move on now a little bit and, let a younger guy come up, whether that's, Shinsuke, whether that's AJ Styles, who's
Corbin.
not really young. Well, Corbin, the heel thing, he's got the money in the bank.
Yeah, we'll see. And we also got the returning John Cena.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about that a little bit because he comes back on the 4th of July. And I don't know if you've noticed, but he's being billed as a free agent. So we'll see what
that means he'll be able to go from brand to brand, but we'll get to that in a second. I thought the title match, I told you that would not be the main event because I didn't think they wanted to leave the crowd on such a sour note because I had a feeling Jinder Mahal was obviously going to retain, which he did, and he had help from the Singh brothers. Like you said, Orton looked strong, kicking the what out of the Singh brothers, and then when he re-enters the ring, Jinder Mahal hits his finish, and both guys, nobody looks weak. Mahal, like you said, does come across as a champion. He's jacked up as he's a big dude. We'll see what this happens. I don't know how long Mahal holds on to it, but as of now, at least it's something different.
It looks like he's going to hold on to it at least through SummerSlam, unless Baron Corbin, cashes in.
Yeah, I don't see that happening.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think Corbin's going to be one of those. They're going to play it into his character, and that was kind of, what I was talking about with my dad. To kind of move on to that segment was, You know, all these guys in this match could do great things with the Money in the Bank, but I feel like something like that you use for a guy that's like at the cusp of it.
Yeah,
but
agreed.
And that can further their character.
None of those guys needed the Money in the Bank except maybe Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn would do great stuff with it, I thought, and Baron Corbin.
Yeah, because obviously Styles, he's